All right, now we're about to get into a subject that's one of my favorites, and that's gold and silver stacking. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me about this. I've tried to talk about it a little bit and on the show to get people to learn more about this, but there's just no time for it. So I'm going to go ahead and explain why it is important for you to stack a gold and silver. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me about this, so I decided to go ahead and do a video. So here we go. Let's talk about gold and silver. So, gold and silver. Why should you be interested in investing in gold and silver, especially now? If you saw my last video on the gold standard, you'll know why. There's a huge change about to happen in our economy, and I really do believe if you're holding on to gold and silver, you will have an opportunity to really make a lot of money stacking gold and silver when the new prices and new values come out. So, okay, why invest? So, all the world's currencies today are made of fiat currencies and are backed by only promises. A lot of people got away from the gold standard. So, I talked about that in the gold standard that the fiat currencies, each country backs it by promises. We have no idea how much is actually out there in circulation, and there's nothing that secures the fiat dollar. Believe it or not, gold and silver are the only things that are recognized as actual currency. That legitimately, if you go to gold and silver, they are considered the one and only true currencies of the world. Okay? Gold and silver is the ultimate insurance policy in protecting your wealth. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit and how that happens. Of course, it's great to have for diversifications. So if you are a person that has enough money to, and especially after the dinar hits, you want to be able to build a portfolio of wealth and you want to mix it up. So you want a lot of diversification in there, and a big portion of it should be gold and silver. And again, I'll get into that in a little bit. Gold and silver both have industrial uses, okay? Gold doesn't have as much industrial use as silver. And let me explain something real quick here. Gold is used in our computers a lot. Yeah, if you open them up, you see them little tiny gold streams. It's great for conducting energy. But there's not a lot of other uses that besides jewelry and the gold itself. Right now, gold is a lot more valuable than silver is, which this seems backwards to me. For the longest time, gold and silver were almost equal in value, and then that changed. Okay. As a matter of fact, once we got away from making silver coins in 1964, governments around the world started dumping silver onto the open market because they just said, hey, there's no use for it. We're not going to use it for coins anymore. So let's just dump it. Two things you got to know about this. You can find gold if you look for it. You cannot find silver looking for it. That's true. Silver is a byproduct. It's always found accidentally. When I heard about that, that blew my mind. So in other words, if you're mining for copper or mining for salt, you're mining for whatever, and then all of a sudden you come across silver. Yes, there's a small ways for you to try to detect it, but most of the mines around the world, the silver mines, were all found accidentally. So silver is really a byproduct. It's found accidentally. Okay, so that's another thing. There is literally 10 times, if not more, gold that has been mined than silver. Now, when I said that governments were dumping silver, they made a huge mistake. Because silver, when it comes to industrial uses, is second to oil. Second to oil. And as time goes on and we start doing more things with computers, doing more things with solar panels, all these things use silver. And the governments dumped them on the open market. And people actually hold more silver than governments do, with one exception. And it's not really a government. JP Morgan holds more silver than anybody else in the world. They currently keep the price suppressed by putting puts on the value of silver. The day that JP Morgan stops doing that, you're going to see silver take off like a bat out of hell. Okay. And I really do believe over time, you're going to see silver pass up gold. So when I say that gold is used in computers, there is a gentleman that was at MIT who just found a way to make a synthetic type of gold that could be used in computers like gold is. So that part of the industrial use of real gold is about to be eliminated. So gold really, in my opinion, is going to start to lose its value because there's so much of it out there versus silver, which has a much, much higher industrial use, is why people will say, which one do you stack the most? I stack silver, not because it's the most affordable. Well, yeah, because it is the most affordable, but it's because I really do believe it's going to go up in value, okay? So, emerging world demands. We see this happening right now. As a matter of fact, when they did the gold standard, I showed you charts where countries around the world are starting to, and this has been going on since 2007, 2008, after our last market crash. So, what's happening is people are stocking up on gold. They're getting ready to go into the gold standard, whether you believe that or not. But the only way you can do that is you first have to stack up on gold. And so there's a lot of countries. You can literally go onto Google and Google this China Silk Road Initiative, go to images and look at the graphs and look at, and just in the last 15 years, how each year they've accumulated more and more and bought more and more gold. So they were preparing for what's about to happen. It's coming up, okay? So let me show you that gold holds its value, and I'm going to show you what this means. All right. So in 1911, a single family home cost approximately $3,500. Gold was worth $20 an ounce back in 1911. So this means you would have needed 175 ounces of gold to buy a home. In 2019, if you still had that same 175 ounces of gold today, you never added to it or you never took from it, but you still had that same 175 ounces of gold today, gold currently is at $1,460 an ounce. This means that same 175 ounces of gold would be worth $255,500. So, do you still think you could buy a single family home with that? Do you see what I'm talking about when I say it holds its value? So when I say that, it's gold and silver is meant to protect the family wealth. This is what I'm talking about. So you don't even need to add to it. You don't need, just don't take from it. Just keep it there. But if you ever need it, you can sell it, and you should be able to protect your wealth. I guess somebody's asking me, how do you measure how much gold and silver you should need in order to really protect your wealth? I guess it really depends on how much money you have. I'm going to say for us average Joes, and this is before the dinar hits, for us average Joes, I say you need at least 1,000 ounces of silver and 20 ounces of gold if you can get it. It's really expensive. I understand that. After the dinar hits, make no doubt about it. I have about 2.5 million in dinar, so I'll probably have about 7 million. At least $1 million of my dollars is going to go into gold and silver for the sole purpose of just protecting the wealth that I've accumulated from the dinar. So silver holds its value as well. I don't know if you hear the latest chats from people these days. They all want that $15 minimum wage. Oh, we want to raise it from where it's at $7 to $15 an hour. I always joke around and say, no, it should be $1.50 an hour. People are looking at me like I'm crazy. What the hell are you talking about? That's because up until 1964, our coins were made of 90% silver. In order for you to have 1 full ounce of silver, you would need to have accumulated $1.50 in any combination, whether it's 6 quarters or 15 dimes, whatever it is. You would need at least $1.50 in coins to equal 1 ounce of silver. Well, 1 ounce of silver today is worth $17. Do you see where the joke comes from? So we need to just bring back the silver coins, and people can use the silver again and sell it and get a lot more money. So I think that's something we should do. And when I told people before how the gold standard helped people preserve their wealth, This is another way. Silver. Do you see the coins we had, the coins that we used every day to pay for things were made of silver. So the wealth was given to the people and not kept by the bank. So this is another reason why we need to bring it back. So there are different ways to collect gold and silver. So I'm going to go over some of them. As you can see on here, these are called bars. So these are gold bars. There's different types. People like the different looks they get into them for different reasons. Silver also has different types of looks to them. Then you also have what's called rounds. Rounds are like this. They're just silver rounds with images on there. They're not actual coins. They have designs on them, but they're equivalent to whatever it is so if you're buying 1 ounce of gold, it'll just look like this. It'll be 1 ounce of gold, 1 ounce of silver, but there's different sizes for you to buy. Okay, so rounds look like something like this. They have coins. They look like coins, but they're not actually coins. They're not, it won't say US dollar on there or anything like that. They just have a design on there, and it's over a gold, what's called planchet. Okay. Silver has their own as well. Silver has their own rounds. Some of them are collectible. I know people go, no, that's a nickel. I know it is. Oh, that's a Liberty. No, what they did is they just made the rounds look like them. Okay, they're not actual coins. They're just silver rounds. This is one of the most desirable ones right here. It's a very collectible coin. Okay. These are gold bars. So these gold bars you can see they're in different sizes. So when people say, I can't afford to spend $1,400 to buy gold. No, don't do that. But you guys can afford these. These are what we call fractionals, okay? So 1 gram right now of gold is like 45 or 50 bucks. So if you can somehow, if you add 45, 50 bucks of discretionary money, you just start stacking and people go, well, it's just a gram. That's not very much. Yeah, but you'd be surprised how quick it stacks up. It doesn't take very long for you to start, to start adding up. And besides this, when it comes to gold, I wouldn't keep anything, or I wouldn't buy anything bigger than a gram. You want all your coins and fractionals, gold that is, because if the shit does hit the fan, and let's say, I'm just making this up, but let's say gold gets to $50,000 an ounce, who the hell is going to take your 1 ounce coin? They won't be able to afford it. But your grams will be worth a couple $100 or a couple $1,000. You could take those in. That's a little bit more easier to deal with than the big 1 ounce coin. So when it comes to gold, I recommend you stay around the 1 gram marks. That's just my opinion. Silver, on the other hand, is a little bit different. There are fractionals, and I do have dime-sized silver coins, nickel-sized silver coins, quarter-sized silver coins, rounds, and 50-cent size silver rounds. But, and here's the bars. There's different, these are collectible. They got nice designs on there. They're really beautiful. You can see they come in different sizes. So, 1 ounce right now is about $17 an ounce. 10 is about $170. But look at, there's 100-ounce bars. There's 5-kilo bars. These are huge. They're long. They're almost like mini surfboards. So, do people have them? Yeah, they do. You could stack those somewhere. Keep them hidden in your house somewhere. We'll go over that a little bit later. So, people always go, well, how do you know a real one from a fake one? Well, when it comes to, and this doesn't guarantee it 100%, people also know that if you see this, when you're buying from a place like, I'll show you a place I buy mine from. This is APMEX, all right? APMEX. You could go here and buy all your gold and silver. There's different, you can come up here where it says like gold, look for, by weight. You can do it by weight, silver by weight. So this is a good place to go buy your things. Their stuff is guaranteed. They're the largest distributor of gold and silver in our nation. And so what they do is when they send you stuff, you want to make sure that you see this 999 on there, fine gold. And by law, these have to be on silver and gold. It tells the people, this is like one way of knowing that it's real. So the 0.99, again, it doesn't mean that people won't try to fake it. They will, but by law, those have to be on there. Okay, so to me, there's 3 types of collectors of gold and silver. We have people who do what's called coin collecting. I mean, a lot of us grew up, some of us remember these little blue coin holders. You just find the year and then you just push the coin in. And, coin collectors, again, this is my opinion, the 3 different types. So the first ones are coin collectors. These are people who don't really care about the condition of the coin. They just like the challenge of filling up albums with all the years. They try to make sure they could get all the years put in there. That is their biggest challenge. They don't care too much about the condition of the coin. Okay. Then you have stackers. Stackers are people who just care about the metal value with the gold and the silver. They don't care about the condition. Well, not all the time. Some of them do, some of them don't. But they're mostly into it just for the metal value. They're not into the coins themselves. They just like stacking huge stacks of rounds or bars. They're into it solely for the metal value, okay? And then you have people like me, a numismatic collector. Now, numismatic collectors are into the coins for both the metal, precious metal value, but also for the artwork that's on the coin. Also, the history of the coins. Newer coins are beautiful. These are what the new Australian kangaroo coins look like. All right, they're beautiful artwork. This is one of my favorite coins to collect, the kookaburras. They're beautiful coins, all right? So when we buy these coins, as soon as we get them, we protect them right away. We don't want them damaged. We don't want no fingerprints on them. We want them to look as perfect as possible. So over time, these types of coins not only accumulate value by their precious metals, but they also accumulate value by the older they get, and then also what's known as a low mintage, and I'll show you that here in a second what I'm talking about. Now, I showed you this before. People keep their coins in this, but for people like me who are numismatic collectors, we use what's called Dansco albums, Dansco, Dansco, and they have all the different types: pennies, nickels, dimes, libertads, you name it, all the different kinds you could buy from their warehouse. And then what happens is, you carefully with gloves on, it has a protective plastic cover that slides in here and keeps the coins in place. So when you remove them, you carefully place the coin in there, slide the plastic over it. This allows people to look at the coins without touching them, because it never fails. When you collect coins, everybody wants to look at the damn coins, which is no problem, but you want to make sure that you don't lose the value of your coins. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here in a minute, why you don't want nobody touching that. Okay, let me run over here again to, I'm going to show you PCGS, and I do have some over here. I brought some PCGS pictures I was going to show you, but I want to show you something real quick. What's so important about making sure the coins you get are as close to perfect as possible, okay? So why that's going, I'll go ahead and go over here. Another thing that's desirable for us numismatic collectors, we are into ones that are low mintages. So the lower the mintage, the more valuable the coin. And the reason for that, I mean, this is worldwide. This is my dream coin right here. This sucker is a 1 ounce coin, all right? It's a beautiful coin, but look at this. There's only 100 in the world made. 100. So usually gold for 1 ounce usually sells for about $1,400, $1,500. This coin can range anywhere from $3,400 to $5,000 for many reasons. One is the artwork on it is immaculate. It's beautiful and very detailed. But this right here is the kicker. So if you have one over time, the low mintages tend to accumulate value quicker than those who have high mintages, okay? So let me just, this is the homepage of PCGS. Numismatic collectors, this is like one of our Bibles of collecting, so to speak. Of course, I'm just being dramatic with it. But in here is how we keep track of the values of our coins. And let me get to this. Let me get back over here real quick. I'm going to show you something, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so low mintages is a very desirable thing for people who are numismatic collectors like me. I love finding coins that have low mintages and trying to buy them. So where we were just at is called PCGS. PCGS is one of the nation's largest and leading coin graders. In other words, you send your coin into them, they carefully examine them, and then they give them a score. And then they put them in these protectors so that nobody can touch them. They're sealed really tight. unless you break the seal on there, then they're very protected. People can look at the coins. You can, it tells you everything you need to know about the coin. But also on here is a price guide. It gives you an idea of what the coin's worth, and I'll show what I'm talking about. This is an 1877. Oh, I love it. 1877 Indian head penny. See, so they show you the penny. You see the year. This is just a regular strike. So over here is, you can see this mintages. There's only 852,500 of these bad boys. That's a very low mintage for these coins. Right now, the one we're looking at, this is called an MS66 red. So I'll go and explain that a little bit later on. Let me show you what this coin is worth, because this low mintage, the fact that it's in a 66 score, which is really good, and it's a desired coin. So that's a 66 plus. This is from that same page. I couldn't fit it onto one. So right here you see the grades. When you go to send your coin in, they send it back graded, and I'll show you what that looks like. So what you do is you just come here to PCGS, excuse me, and you look for your grade. So in this case, it's a 66. This down here is how many of these have been graded at that number. So 64 plus, there's only one in the world so far that's been graded as 64 plus. It's worth $22,000. This is a 66. The coin I just showed you, that is a 66. A 66 plus. This is what the coin's worth. There's only 7 in the world. It's worth $125,000. Look at this. That's a 6. The other one we've seen is 66 plus. There's only one of them. So if you take a look at the jump in value from one point to the next. Here's a regular 65. This is just a 65 plus. It's just slightly better. That's a 20,000 difference. All right here. And then from a 65 to a 66, that's a, what's that? A $75,000 jump. So if it went 20 to 75, you can imagine this coin right here, since there's only one in the world, you have a lot of people who are millionaires. They're numismatic collectors. Their goal is to collect the highest scoring coins that are out there. You could probably throw the 66 plus into an auction and get somewhere around about $300,000, $400,000 for the coin. All right. Again, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. This is what a graded coin looks like. It comes in these little plastic holders. So on here, it tells you the date of the coin, the dimensions, which you need to know about them. And here's the grade. So in this case, it's an MS. MS means mint state 63. That's a really good, really good score for a coin this dang old. Consider it's from 1789. It comes from France. Okay, so this is the secured seal of PCGS, that you know it's legitimate. So each coin is assigned its own certification numbers. This gets scanned. This is how you know if this coin is real or not. If you want to know if it is or not, you could go send it into a PCGS and say, is this legitimate? Is this coin the right coin in there? They'll tell you. Or when you go to shows, they want to make sure they got the right coin. Or it also tells you who the owner is, believe it or not. So these are tracked by owners. Tamper evident holder. So this thing is very strong, hard plastic, very strong. It doesn't take very much to crack it if you fiddle with it. So if you see any kind of cracks on the holder, you know it's been tampered with. You want to leave that coin alone. Now, let me take you back over to this website again. Now, we were talking about coins. Let me show you why you don't want anybody to touch your coins. Yeah, I know that looks beautiful. That's called natural toning. There's a niche out there of collectors who look for coins that are toned. Okay, so let's go back over to that 1877 coin, because it's a nice one. I almost had all these, including proofs, and I'll show you something about proofs here in a minute. So this is called a brown. When people touch it, there's this natural coloring that takes place on the coins. It just turns brown from the oils on your skin. Okay. So this is the same coin, 1877, but it's brown, not red and desirable, okay? So just let me show you something really quick here. So red and brown, look at this. The other one was $125,000, all right? This is $20,000. Do you see the difference in cost because of the color? Just because somebody touched your coin. I have a beautiful 1909 VSB wheat penny that was red, shiny, and I grabbed it with my fingers. Is now brown. So I've lost somewhere about $600 in value just for touching it. But look at, so let me show you. This is a brown coin. This is worth, at a score of 66, is worth $20,000. This is a reddish brown, which means the coin has a little bit of red still in there, but it's also turning brown. So it's got caught before it's turned totally brown. So let's go to that 66 score. It's 38. So you gain almost $20,000. You see the difference? $18,500 more just for a reddish brown look. So do you see what I'm talking about when I say you don't want nobody touching your coins? Do you see the huge drop in huge drop in value? And then we already know what a red one looks like. I just showed you. It's worth $125,000. So see, when you go to collect your coins, you definitely don't want nobody touching them. You want to use down school albums to protect them. And you definitely want to get them graded if you think you have a coin that's very desirable. Now, there are other kind of coins out there. They are literal artwork and the mintages are really super low. These coins are in demand and they're very collectible. They're called power coins, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. You can see the craft and artwork in power coins. It's unbelievable. Some of these have pearls in the middle. Some of them have opals. Some of them have jewels. I mean, look at the details in these. These are really, really beautifully crafted coins. And Power Coin creates them. And usually you'll see somewhere in the neighborhood really low mintages. Most all their coins are low. You'll see maybe as high as 300. You'll see as low as 20. But you can look at the details in these. These are silver coins. They're antique coated. It's just unbelievable work. And so the funny thing is, when it comes to coin collecting, I tell people, look, if you're going to get into collecting coins, before you do that, try to reach your stacking goal of 1,000 ounces and 20 ounces of gold if you can. If not, I mean, try to at least get 5 ounces. And then if you want to get in collecting, fine. Because what I find is that women get into the coins more than men do by the way they look. To them, they're like accessories. So you'll catch them getting, women tend to get carried away on these types of coins. They love the artwork. They really do. And you can see why. I mean, it's just phenomenal. These are very desirable coins. These coins can range up to, well, they average somewhere around a couple $100 per coin. Okay. But look at, let me show what I'm talking about detail wise. This is an Aztec calendar. Look at the details in this. It's in a 1 ounce coin. It's the artwork is unbelievable. This one here, look at this, the artwork on this one. This ball spins, by the way. It's like a little globe. You don't want to touch it, of course. But look at the artwork in these power coins. So again, these are gold coins. Of course, they're worth a lot more. There's different series of these coins. They're beautiful coins. I have several of them. Not the gold ones, of course, but the silver ones. I just think they're beautiful coins. So anyways, to get back into gold and silver, you know, people are going, are you really going to put 80% of your money into gold and silver? No, I'm not going to get that dramatic. But I think of anything, I'm going to, at the very minimum, I'm going to put about 20% of my money into gold and silver. Now, people say, what about confiscation? Because it's happened before. The government did confiscate the gold from people, and that is a threat. That is a real threat. So here's what I recommend. Don't go onto the internet and buy large quantities of gold or silver. I recommend that you find a local gold and silver coin shop or gold and silver store. You can go in there and talk to the owner and work out a deal with them to buy large quantities. You pay them cash, they'll give you your gold and silver. There's no paper trail whatsoever. That's a great way to conceal how much gold and silver you really have. Okay, then I recommend you find a place to hide it. Somewhere in your house, get a safe. You got to find a way to, you don't want it to just be a safe and somebody goes, oh, look, there's a safe, open it up and they got a gun at you. You know, you want to make sure that it's somewhere that's hidden, protected. So what I did is I went to the internet and I found that there's places on there like secret hiding places that could be made into your house. So I just said, oh, okay, this is interesting. So there's different ways in which people, see, look at like hidden cupboards underneath here. Can you see what they did here? So, there's all kinds of things you could do to hide your silver. You don't want nobody to know where it is. You want your significant other to look at this. This looks like regular stairs, but who would have thought to look into the stairs? This is a great way to store your gold and silver and protect it. You know what I mean? So this is what I did. I looked into this kind of stuff. This is the type of stuff that I'm thinking of doing once this dinar thing hits. I'm going to go ahead and just, find secret ways to hide and store my gold and silver. I also want to purchase it from my local stores so that there's no paper trail of how much I'm getting. All right, so that about does it. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. You guys know that we have the group there. You can ask me questions there, or if there's something else you want to know about gold and silver, just let me know, and we could do another video if we need to. All right, have a good one.